Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what's a great TV show that nobody talks about? The original The Tick cartoon. Isn't sanity really just a one-trick pony anyway? I mean, all you get is one trick, rational thinking, but when you're good and crazy, oh, the sky is the limit. The Detectorists. Extremely dry and very British, but a really heartfelt and lovely comedy about some metal detectorists in Essex. Such an underrated gem. The theme song is one of my favorites. Also forgot to mention, I think the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret was absolutely hilarious, but I've never met anyone else who knows what it is. Edit, holy shit. Probably my second most liked comment ever, and also my second gold in 10 years of Reddit. I can't believe it's because of Todd Margaret. Thanks for the gold, although I'm not sure what it does. David Cross is in top form here. As good as Tobias in Arrested Development. But is he as good as Frightened in Maitnear? 2. The increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret. I forgot this show existed. I for sure need to rewatch it. Party Down. Incredible cast and humor. I met Ken Marino when I was an extra on Eastbound and Down, and he was the nicest guy in the world. I told him I loved him in Wet Hot American Summer and Party Down. He got a huge smile and said thank you so much. He wasn't even working that day, he was just on set to say what's up and mess around. Good shit. I will always love anyone who was on the state. You're the worst. 10/10ths in my book. It's hilarious and every episode hits. The writing is incredible and it is perfectly cast. Whole series is on Hulu. Great show. Their coverage of depression was very real. Nobody else has even come close. There was a moment, about 4 or 5 episodes into the depression arc, when I started thinking, okay, this has kind of gone on for a while, I'm kind of getting tired of this. Imagine my surprise, when Jimmy says basically the exact same thing to Gretchen. He's tired of it, he's tired of trying to help and getting nothing back, he's tired of not being able to fix her, and, while everybody loves her, they are also getting sick of her shit, so she needs to get the fuck over it already. And she might as well have been looking at the camera at the audience when she tells him that that's not how depression works. It doesn't get fixed. You don't snap out of it. It's not conveniently placed in the story, or just the right length so it doesn't get too annoying. It doesn't get turned around by a grand gesture, or a show of support. Show all the support you want, it won't make depression go away like magic. It's not sexy, or tragic, or funny, or compelling. It just is what it is, it shows up when it wants to, it goes on for as long as it does, and it doesn't matter who it hurts or what it ruins, it doesn't care. It's boring, and mean, and ugly. And the show extends the arc for too long, longer than any other show would, because that's the point it's trying to get across to you. It wants you to feel as annoyed, spiteful, and exhausted as everybody else is. Also, one time in the show Jimmy describes an elderly woman's hand as, like holding a bag filled with pencils, and that's one of the funniest lines I've ever heard. It is the only show I would describe as being brave. The 2 main characters suck. They are broken assholes, and the showrunners never flinch from having them act like it. Made me cry a dozen times. Yes. Arya Cash is perfect as a depressed person. The Great. It's great. Hilarious and charming and occasionally a true story. Huzzah. Indeed, huzzah. Now fuck off. Nicholas Hoult is just 10/10ths in this show. Fuck off, I'm doing science. Everyone else is good. He fucking kills every scene he's in. Truffle fucker. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was better than it had any business being. Netflix kept suggesting it to me and I was like, no please stop, but then one day I was really stoned and was like, fuck it, show me what you've got, and boy howdy, I'm so glad I did. It's funny, smart, a little soapy, which I appreciate when you want action that doesn't feel life or death, and then boom, huge amazing depictions of mental health struggles and toxic parenting. I have literally discussed the song Maybe She's Not Such a Heinous Bitch After All with my therapist on multiple occasions. Is it cheesy? Yes. Is it good? Yes. Should you give it a try? Yes. Adam Schlesinger wrote / co-wrote many of the songs on the show, and was one of the earliest celebrity COVID deaths. He was also in Fountains of Wayne and wrote Stacy's mom. Edit, added the word wrote. Holy shit, Adam Schlesinger died. He was so great at songs that kind of satirized the genre. I think one of my fav songs was him writing the titular song for the movie That Thing You Do. Sad fact, he died across the country right as Rachel Bloom was having her baby. She talks about it in her book and it's so sad. It's a fantastic show. The protagonist really blurs the line between being awful and having a good excuse to be the way she is. It's definitely food for thought. And the music is brilliantly cynical. Rip Adam. She's the villain in her own story. Most of Brian Fuller's stuff, other than Hable, which did get some traction. Dead Like Me and Pushing Daisies were both top tier. Dead Like Me was so underrated as a show. No one I know has even heard of it. I've heard of it, and oh my god, the episode where she finds out someone in her family is going to die and the amount of times she tried to get them to see her. That show broke me in the best ways and I was so sad to see it go. I loved Pushing Daisies. I was so upset when it was cancelled. I remember Pushing Daisies on my first HD TV. It was incredible. Also, Waterfalls. Pushing Daisies gets talked about all the time as a show no one knows about, despite people talking about it all the time. But Waterfalls. I never hear people wondering about the Waterfalls. I'd say that's the most hidden of the hidden gems in the guy's work. No one ever mentions Derry Girls. I think it's funnier than half the stuff popular RN. I did not expect to love those disasters as much as I did. Miracle Workers, all seasons of it. Every person I've put onto this show loves it. Love this show. Such a delightfully random cast, put lolly ad FOP in more stuff. And high concept but light-hearted humor executed perfectly. Russian Doll. Nobody in my life talks about that show. Loved it. Yes. Can't wait for season 2. Natasha Lyo is the best. I love everything about the show, but because I don't feel like it's promoted, I'm always afraid Netflix is going to cancel it. American Vandal. Who Drew the Dicks? Spoilers, kinda. My parents told me it was a real documentary before turning it on since I grew up in San Diego and my aunt even worked at that high school. It wasn't until the accused boy started going on about ball hair that I realized I got trolled, lol. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Hidden gem. Did I make some mistakes? Yes. Did I only make mistakes? Yes. But did it all work out? Kind of. Such a great show. Surprised no one in this thread has brought up Better Off Ted. Viridia Dynamics. Food. Yum. Viridia Dynamics. Every day, something we make makes your life better. Usually. Diversity. Just the thought of it makes these white people smile. Diversity. Good for us. The environment. Everyone likes it, so we do too. Viridia Dynamics. Because you can't spell individual without Viridia. And you. And an L. Organic vegetables chock full of antidepressants. At Viridia Dynamics, we can even make radishes so spicy that people can't eat them. But we're not. Because people can't eat them. Our family works for your family. Even the dead ones. And we're working to bring them back, so we can make copies of them. Machines. When you were little, you wanted to be one. So we're taking the best of both and combining them into something strong and we hope loving. When you think about it, shouldn't you be thanking us for making mistakes? Viridia Dynamics. We're sorry. You're welcome. Teamwork. It keeps our employees gruttled. The adverts were so fucking good. It was way ahead of its time. People would eat up the capitalistic /corporate satire these days. I really liked the kick. Better Off Ted was unceremoniously killed before its time, with ABC citing a lack of viewers. It pops up from time to time on Reddit, but being from 2009, it's largely out of the cultural sphere these days. Which is unfortunate, because Portia de Rossi in particular is incredible in it. I was looking for a good clip to show the best of this show for people who haven't watched it before, and the Jabberwocky presentation, linked below by a brilliant person, is probably the single greatest example of the show I can think of. As a few have been asking, if you're wanting to give it a shot, it's on Hulu right now. So fucking funny. Viridia Dynamics, Black people we see you. We may have created a monster in the lab. It's not a monster. It's a cyborg that can kill without remorse. I was talking about Phil. What are you talking about? I was also talking about Phil. Okay, it's classified. But it's gonna be a fantastic new tool, if we can get it to tell the difference between soldiers and children. Sliders is a show that was supposedly popular in the mid-80s yet is sadly forgotten. The first 3 seasons were awesome. Sliders was awesome. I'll never forget the episode where he finally gets back to his timeline and left because the gate didn't squeak. Then a repairman comes out and says, "I fixed that squeaky gate for you," to his mom. Thanks for the flashback. Ma, I remember watching that episode on TV and screaming at it, "No, Quinn, don't slide, you're back home." Such a great show.